Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Sports Talk in the Burgh, the final edition of this semester. I'm Sam Anthony, and alongside me is Rashad Christian, and because we didn't want to see Greg's hair for one more episode, Ian Kiss. We have a great show for you tonight. I know Greg's going to be very upset when he hears that one, but we're going to start tonight's show with Robert Morris's leading scorer, Isaiah Still, saying goodbye to Moon Township. The star scorer announced his intent to transfer from Colonial Country, being one of the 3 impact transfers to leave the school. Now, does this say a lot about the program in general or these players?
I'm going to go first?
Yeah,
All right.
first.
I think there's a little bit of both. I mean, you look at Toole, and he has a track record of keeping players away from him. Yeah, they come here with high hopes thinking, okay, Toole might be a decent coach, is a D1 school, but then they don't like the way he leads, and then they bounce. And it's like, you want to say that it's Toole's fault, but you also have to look at the player and realize that if you can't handle a D1 school, then why are you coming here?
Here's the thing. I would agree with you if this were the first time that Robert Morris has seen all of these players leaving. But this isn't the first time. To me, this speaks volumes to him as a head coach because you know what? There are going to be those people that can't handle the pressure, can't handle the heat. They're going to get out. You see that at every college in the country. But here's the thing. This is a continual thing, and to me this is Toole as a coach. He doesn't know how to coach individual players. He goes, hey, this is me, you're stuck with it, you have to deal with it. But he's a coach and these are kids, and you have to understand there's a lot of adjusting that has to go in place, and sometimes you can't be a jerk all the time. You can't be pressuring these guys all the time, and so Coach Toole needs to take a step back and maybe learn a little bit of how to relate to these guys better.
Yeah, I agree with, putting the blame on Toole, but I also think if you don't want to play with a high they had to have known coming to RMU it wasn't going to be, it's not going to be a walk in the park.
Well,
it's a Division I program, and if you want easiness, if you want coaches to go light on you, go find a D3 school, maybe a D2 school. With higher competition, but you're not going to get that here. You know who Coach Toole is. You should know who he is coming into the show. That's not a justifiable excuse,
and I just said that. You can't just say that's how Coach Toole is.
No, but you know who he is coming into the school.
Yes, but do you want to win games if you're Coach Toole? Because clearly what he's doing is wrong.
I agree with you on that part, but I also think that some of these players are taking the easy road out.
So when we talk about departures, and we're going to talk about arrivals, of these rookies coming in, these freshmen, who's going to have the biggest impact?
I really like Kobe Pinckney-Thomas. He's a big guy. He's a physical guy. He's an athlete. And I know what both of you are going to tell me is that the guy cannot shoot. Well,
not that he just can't shoot. He has no basketball IQ.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay.
Because you know what? When your leading scorer was shooting 38%, that's not good. That's what Isaiah Still was shooting. So clearly Robert Morris does not have any players that can shoot in the first place. So I think he fits in fine because he's a big guy, he's a physical guy. You teach him some of that basketball IQ, you really start working with him. I like to see what you can do.
See, but that's the thing though. Basketball IQ isn't something that you can just put somebody in the gym and they'll just develop. That's something you're born with. That's why people play basketball at a high level. He's a 3-star recruit. Mainly because of his athleticism. You read all the scouting reports, and that's all they talk about. His ability to run on the fast break, fill in the lanes, and go up above the rim. When you're talking about this team and their needs, they need a leader, especially with Kayvon gone. They need a true point guard, because right now they're stuck with Deshaun Burke and Clive Allen running the point. Neither of those two are actual point guards who are going to distribute the ball. They're going to look for their own shot first, because that's what Deshaun did. He came off the bench, got his own, and that was that.
So who's going to do that for them right now? Because I can't.
They haven't brought anybody in. I mean, they're kind of lost right now.
I'm not saying that this guy's going to be the new, point guard in that leader role, but Josh Williams out of Akron, I think he's looking for the playing time. But I think he comes in with the experience more than what we have. And I know he's another guard. Maybe Clive or Deshaun come off the bench.
See, one of those guys, I would put it on them to learn how to be a passer, to distribute the ball, because they're familiar with the system, they're familiar with Toole. Both those guys want to be the guy here at Robert Morris University. They want to be the go-to guy that everyone's talking about. They can do that.
And I like both of them. No, don't get me wrong. They have an amazing skill set, both offensively and defensively. Like you said, they need to develop into a leader, into a point guy. Definitely. With their loss to Mississippi State, the UConn women's winning streak of 111 was snapped. Was it the greatest upset in all of sports history?
Upset? No. I could list you so many better upsets off the top of my head. Mississippi State's not a bad team. And I know how good UConn is. But it had to happen eventually.
No, of course it did. 111 games shouldn't even happen normally. The thing is, when you have a team like UConn on the women's side of basketball, This is a team that's been dominating for 5+ years now.
Dominating for a
Straight-
decade.
a decade. Yeah, I mean, and when you have a team so dominant like that, especially like in the women's side of basketball, I'm talking D1 and in the WNBA, the competition field is less. You have maybe 1 or 2 good teams here and there, but that's it. Like the whole league isn't vying for a spot in the playoffs. They're not vying for the championship.
But last time I checked, there was a 16th seed in the NCAA tournament that upset a 1 in women's basketball.
And that's true.
I
And
would
you
consider
will,
that a greater upset.
and you will get those types of upsets. But right now, you're talking about the longevity of their dominance and just how dominant they were. First round, they won by 69 points. And you look at that, and they've been doing that for 6 years or so. I mean, and when they lose like this, everyone's going to turn their head because it's like, what? Like, they just won 111 games. You don't expect them to lose right before a championship
And
game.
also, the way Coach Ariama reacted after the game,
Yeah.
he kind of like was like, oh, like I'm not okay with it, but like it's like okay, a team finally got us.
Well, because
And
losing
I
is
want
a
to
part
go
of the
back,
game.
and I just want to give one last point here, is that
Sure.
you should expect them to lose in the Final Four. If you're going to lose anywhere, that's where it should be, because that's
would
where
argue
you're
it
getting
should
the
be in the
highest level of
championship.
talent.
I mean,
I thought it was a little shocker that
I get that.
it was in the Final Four. But now that the NHL has announced that they will not accommodate the schedule for the 2018 Olympics, guys, is this the right or wrong decision from the league?
Sam, you go ahead.
It's just, you know what? Can I look at the camera again and just
Please do. I will
Gary
sit back.
Bettman, this was a horrible decision. What better way to market your league and the talent that your league has than in the Olympics? And I know it affects your scheduling and the way the season works.
He took
and
the easy way out.
But yeah, he took the easy way out, and they're going to suffer for it. He's going to suffer for it, and you're going to have to live with your decision now because you can't go back and be like, oh, we changed our minds. So
Well, according to Ovechkin, he's still playing for Russia.
yeah, and
I don't. He's
I mean,
he's
what
in
are the
a
Capitals
contract.
going to do? Get rid of him?
Yeah,
now?
he's in a
Come on.
contract. So like, will he have to like leave that, be dismissed from the team, like end his contract?
I
and
mean,
then
if
try
I were
to
the
get it
Capitals, I'd be
back?
like, do whatever you want,
Right.
Ovechkin. And that's
You're our
you're going to
best
see
players.
players that do that because you know what? Sidney Crosby can do that. Malkin can do that. I mean, there's a slew of players that are going to go, you know what? This is what I look forward to. I want to play and represent my country, who I don't get to represent when I come to America to play hockey. That is a big thing for a lot of these players.
They get the opportunities.
that get to come represent their country, and the fact that they're taking that away is another thing that's really bad about this whole thing.
I mean, it should definitely be more of a player's option. There shouldn't be a league basing when players can go represent their home countries.
That's just the commissioner, using his power, but not
Right.
using it in the right way. That's him being selfish. Him not. They have to accommodate the schedule. I mean, they've done it the past years. So I don't understand why all of a sudden it's a big problem.
If the players want to play, let them play. That's all I'm going to say.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back to Sports Talk in the Burgh, opening day just started yesterday. Baseball season is upon us, so we're going to talk some Pirates baseball, so you won't want to miss it.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
The MLB regular season is in full swing, and the Pirates, thank you, Sam, lost on opening day to the Red Sox. It's a little early, but where will the Pirates finish in their division?
First off, I love the MLB.
You look relaxed today.
It's fine.
Man,
it's fine.
Man.
Last show, we'll get it all out in the air.
Yeah, because why not? But let's start with the debate here. You guys can go at me. Pittsburgh Pirates, they're not a playoff team. I'm sorry to the Pittsburgh fans that think that Andrew McCutchen's going to come and have this magical year.
No, he's not.
But if you watched him yesterday, it was embarrassing. His new swing, he looked... he didn't have any confidence. He looked like a lost puppy.
I pulled the U and pulled the stat sheet.
Ooh, okay.
0 for 4.
With 3 strikeouts, might I add.
3 strikeouts.
When he looked, he swung and the ball bounced way before the plate, and he looked terrible.
No, and you know what? The Pirates could. They have huge upside with Tyler Glasnow and Jameson Taillon. But the Pirates, their whole season and them making the playoffs is dependent on all of their prospects coming out and being elite players right away. And Tyler Glasnow is great. He's 6'7", which gives him great extension to go with his great velocity, which makes it even better. He has control issues. He's a guy who is going to have to figure some stuff out. You get him to figure it out come late August, that's good. But he's a guy you can't expect to make an immediate impact. He's a guy I expect to be in that 5 spot for a little while, to go down to Indianapolis for a little while, be back and forth until he can kind of figure his stuff out.
And you talk about these prospects having to pick up the load. Honestly, I thought Andrew McCutchen would be the factor in which they would have a good season. And I picture it now, it's kind of unfair that he is sitting back doing horrible right now while having to rely on these new players who haven't had much MLB experience. It's kind of like, I'm going to sit back while y'all do everything, and I'm going to sit here and suck.
I mean, I think McCutchen's trying. Do not get me wrong. I think he really
is 0 for 4 and 3 strikeouts trying, though?
It's one of those things.
He did face good pitching, though. Okay, I don't know.
It's a lot
everybody faces
when you're
good
facing
pitching,
Robbie
though.
Scott in relief, like he pitched 7 games
But,
last year.
like, I agree with Sam. I think the pitching, it's all coming down to Cole, Taillon, and Nova. But I think I'm struggling with his name right here, Polanco. Come out and show us who you are, kid. Come out with that big bat. Show us who you were in the World Baseball Classic. Come out. Try to be better than Marte. You know what I mean? Everybody's looking at Marte. Come out. Show your dominance. Not at the bat as well, but in your new position in left field.
See, here's the thing.
But I think Polanco could really be that big bat that the Pirates lean on in crucial situations this year.
You know who I really like is Adam Frazier. If you watched that game yesterday,
he's the new Sean Rod.
Yeah, and he hits the ball hard. Everything doesn't matter. Ground balls, fly balls. He gets good contact on it. He hustles. He's a guy who wants to be there. Really. And once again, when they had. They didn't want Polanco playing the Green Monster, which is understandable because he can't field the Clemente wall.
Yeah, he's terrible in our field.
So Frazier came in, and that's a good fill. The problem for the Pirates right now is that third base spot. There's no one who I personally have any confidence in to be consistent day in, day out.
I like David Freese, but when he struggles, there's no one else. You're going to try to put Frazier there because Gung's ruining the whole system here. But his selfishness.
That's just a whole nother ordeal.
He's a great player. So. That does put a damper into things, and Freese now has to step up and be the guy who he never really was, which was a stud player. He's always that guy, like in the World Series, he did come up big, but he's never been that guy to take control of everything. So we'll see how that pans out. But again, if he doesn't pan out, I don't know who they're going to put at third base right now, honestly.
I mean, you're just going to have to hope Jung Ho gets back in the country. It's not
he doesn't get any other punishments from the league or anything either.
Make him behave good,
Make him behave good. I mean. That's kind of hard. He is his own grown man.
He's his own person.
With the 2017 season, like you said, just underway, who is your way too early World Series champion?
Way too early.
I'll let you go first because I have a lot to say about mine.
All right, I'm kind of nervous now. I'm going to say the Cubs. I like the Cubs. I'm not going to sit here and say that I know everything about baseball because I know you do. Hey. They're a good team. They're on track. They're predicted to have another 100-win season. And when you look at that back-to-back 100-win seasons, last year 103.
95-win season.
I saw 101.
Statistically, they're projected 91, but I digress.
See?
I digress.
It was the stats.
So I like the Cubs as a pick. I do. I'm not going to hit you on the Cubs. I'm going to hit Ian when he goes to his pick, the Blue Jays.
The Blue Jays?
That's ridiculous.
I didn't even see this.
That team is going to come over the hump this year.
I didn't even see this until now.
Who did they get that made them better?
They didn't need anybody to get. I think they're fine with.
You're right. So when they lost Edwin Encarnacion,
that's fine.
Batista, who's getting old now, there's gonna be a decline.
Well, I'm waiting on their pitching.
Lost wins. They're not a team. And meanwhile, the Red Sox. Who did the Red Sox pick up this offseason? Chris Sale, arguably a guy who could be another. There are 3 guys in that starting rotation that could be Cy Young winners. Wow. David Price, Chris Sale, Rick Porcello, who did win the Cy Young last year, might I add. The Red Sox rotation, add that with one of the best offenses. You have guys like Andrew Benintendi that come in there. He hit a 3-run home run off of Garrett Cole. Everyone saw that in Pirate Nation. Mookie Betts, who was an MVP candidate. Xander Bogaerts, who had one of the longest hitting streaks in baseball last year. Same with Jackie Bradley Jr.
Last year.
And so you're telling me that these young guys that are 23, 24 years old are not going to improve?
Well, they're going to improve. I think the Blue Jays have the pitching.
Who do they have that's made them better from last year?
Liriano. Did you see him in spring?
Liriano is not going to make them better. He didn't make the Pirates better last year.
Oh, change of scenery. I think Liriano
you mean the change of scenery he had during the postseason?
One of the aces for them.
Did they win?
I'm just saying Boston and the Blue Jays in the ALCS. We'll see in October.
Oh, man.
We'll battle this one out, and we'll see the Blue Jays move on to the World Series.
All right. Well, now that you know our World Series champion predictions, who will win the American and National League Most Valuable Player Awards? And Ian, you know what? You were heated. I'll give you the ladies first.
Well, excuse yourself. You'll like this one, Mookie Betts.
Oh, man. The young players that don't pan out? Oh, wait. Hold on. You just
you're
lost.
180. Well, I'm just saying that as a whole, I think I'll go back to Blue Jays. Mookie Betts, I think he came up last year, showing with his 31 home runs, 113 RBIs, 26 stolen bases. He has all it takes to be the MVP in the field.
You're right.
In the base paths, at the plate. I'm not done. I'm done.
Ian, you are right. Mookie Betts has everything that it takes to be an MVP candidate. All right, look at me. This is why I say this. He's batting leadoff. All right, he's a guy that you put in the leadoff spot. Statistically, he won't get the RBIs.
Yep.
He won't have the performance, and that's not a hit on him. That's a hit on the fact that the Red Sox
put
him at the top of the lineup.
I don't think he even needs to put up 113 RBIs to win the MVP again.
I think he didn't win the MVP. Mike Trout won the MVP.
That was my pick.
And I would give Mike Trout a better shot over Mookie Betts because he's sitting in that.
Oh, so you're going against the young guy and going for another older guy. And
because Mike Trout is an older guy in the league.
He's not as young as these guys.
Age doesn't matter as long as you can perform. And Mike Trout performed.
I agree with that. I like that.
27 years old. Exactly. That's not old. He's in his prime.
27. I mean, these guys are a little younger than that. But I'm just saying.
You're right.
You were all about Boston a minute ago. Now you're like, let's go with that. Let's go with the Angels.
That's different. Guy. This is team versus MVP candidate. But I want to talk about my NL candidate. I'd love to talk about Manny Machado over Nolan Arenado. He's underrated because he plays for Colorado. I like that one because you're going to see the power numbers from playing 81 games in Colorado, but also the fact that he can play well in the field. He's got great average. Honestly, if you're looking at an overall all-around player, I like Nolan Arenado.
I agree with that, but I'm going to go with Bryce Harper. I think he's going to come out of his
slump.
Kind of his slump last year.
Of a slump.
I mean, his numbers weren't too terrible.
Yeah, you're right, because the numbers were so good at the beginning of the season. He finished the season flat out cold.
You finish my thought.
He could only get pitches that were in the middle of the plate. I can do that.
Really?
So is this a two-person show now? Can we just make it a two-person show? We'll move on, though. A golfing fan took involvement to a whole new level as Lexi Thompson was stripped of her major win after a fan called in one of her mistakes on the greens. What do we think about this, fellas?
Should we let Rashad go first? He was feeling a little left out.
He went first to begin the show.
All right, fine. You can go.
Fans should not have this involvement. She signed her card and should not have been taken away from her. I don't even know how a fan even sees that little move. It wasn't even a big move. It wasn't obvious. It was a little move.
It was a 1 foot putt.
I don't even know how a fan sees that.
This is a fan dedicated to ruining the lives of golfers. I think fans just watch it. All right, just enjoy the sport. You know.
You know what? Shame on
she has a couple
LPGA.
Of haters.
Yeah, look at that. Hold on. Let's watch this right here because this doesn't even look like a purposeful move here. You know what? It was honestly probably an honest mistake here. And what does that do? Why would she feel the need to even move that? That's a gimme putt. This is, you know what? It's a shame.
I just don't get why that has to be
as a whole because it shows that they can't figure this out. A fan figures it out. The fan now has more credibility to me than the league.
But I don't even that's so hard to see.
Should hire the fan.
I understand why the LPGA doesn't even see that.
And the fact that it's a 4-stroke penalty, because it did. She had a 3-stroke lead. It cost, and it just, I'm speechless.
It sucks that fans feel like they need this amount of involvement in the game.
Well, they're always going to have involvement. It's just allowing them to have that.
And that's the problem. I don't think they should be allowed to do things like this. Email an official and say, hey, she cheated a little bit.
Who knows that video could be even edited? But I'm just going to leave it there.
Maybe, you're right. If the league didn't catch it, then it should be a wash.
Don't go anywhere, because after the break, we will dive into Ben Roethlisberger and his future with the Steelers and who the Steelers should pick in the upcoming draft, as well as Tiger Woods and his future in the PGA. We'll be right back.
Did you know parking over tall, dry grass can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
I spy something beginning with S.
Snow?
No.
Snow-covered trees.
Nothing to do with snow.
Head outside to discover incredible animals and beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure.
Wow.
So grab your loved ones.
Don't even.
And explore a world of possibilities.
Come on, this way.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you.
Welcome back to Sports Talk in the Burgh. After announcing he was considering retirement at the end of the 2016-2017 season, Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger says that he is, quote, leaning towards a return in 2017. Guys, how much longer do you think Ben will play? And does this intensify the team's need to get a quarterback?
I feel if anything, he has maybe 2 years left, if one.
I'm going 3.
I mean, he's
3 to 5.
You hear what he said? He's leaning towards
Are you
coming back.
talking
That's
about
not even a
physically,
definite.
or are you talking about mentally, like whether he wants
I'm
to play?
saying both, because right now it doesn't seem like he wants to play 100%.
I think physically he can go 4 more years. I believe.
We're talking Tom Brady years, and Tom Brady's more than 4 years.
Yeah, but
out
Tom
of being
Brady's
retired.
also about 3 years older than Ben Roethlisberger.
Okay, let's keep the cheater out of this.
Wow.
That
we're
was-
going to
that
talk
was
about
harsh.
that later. But you know what? I want to bring the Patriots back into this because you don't want to know why Ben Roethlisberger is leaning towards retirement. Is because the Steelers are not making any moves to show Ben Roethlisberger he's going to have a chance at another Super Bowl. Because right now, he's sitting there watching the New England Patriots pick and grab whoever they want. I mean, what was the headline in the news the other day? Adrian Peterson going to meet with the Patriots yesterday.
Yeah, that would be something. But I think that Ben should come back and prove that he can win another Super Bowl with the team
No,
that
but
they
you know, it's
currently
not
have,
fair
though.
when he's putting up career offensive numbers and that defense cannot support him. He's doing everything he can. Antonio Brown is, Le'Veon Bell is, and he's the only one. As much as he's getting hurt, he's fighting through the injuries. We see consistently Le'Veon Bell getting hurt before the playoffs. Antonio Brown missed that game against Denver. If they had Antonio Brown in that game 2 years ago against the Broncos, they would have been a Super Bowl team.
2 years ago, let's not, okay.
Well, we're
let's
looking
just talk about what we saw last year.
Right. I mean, and you talk about championship windows. Not every year is going to be a championship.
There's no window.
Chance for a team. And Ben had his chance when he had a stellar defense a few years ago.
But he didn't have a stellar offense. There was no Le'Veon Bell. There was no Antonio Brown.
And they still got there, and that's the thing. I mean, they're going to have to build some defense.
They got there in 2010. That's 7 years ago.
Okay, 7 years. Great. I didn't say it was close. I'm just saying way back when. But no, that's when you see a good defense, and they definitely do have to do that because Ben is on his way out. Offensive players don't have that many years left in Pittsburgh, especially if Ben is going to be gone. They don't have a competent backup quarterback, and honestly, they need to build through the draft, and that's what their chances are now. Well, we're moving on. All right, the NFL draft is coming up later this month. Who do you have the Steelers selecting?
All right, well, I think we have the same first-round draft pick. Am I wrong?
Watt.
T.J. Watt.
Yeah.
I love T.J.
He's a
Watt.
stud.
Yeah, and he's following right in his brother's footsteps, which is exciting. If I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, I want T.J. Watt I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers in, any part of the team, I want him.
He has what the old Steelers are, the steel curtain type player. He's a hard player. He's dedicated to what he does, and I think he can blitz. He can step back. He can do what the Steelers need to do, and I think he can be a key aspect for the defense this season.
Rashad, who do you have as your first pick here?
I really
first pick. I have Taco Carlton, the DN from Michigan.
What a name!
This team allowed 246 passing yards per game. That was ranked 18th best in the league, and that's not even on the better half of the league. You talk about you need someone to rush the quarterback because you see far too often opposing quarterbacks have way too much time in the pocket. And you don't have a reliable rusher to go in there and disturb an opposing quarterback. And I feel like this can be the guy. Give him a few years to develop.
And I like the pick. I do. One, I think he's more of a product of that system. Harbaugh's a great coach. That defense overall as a whole is phenomenal. There are a lot of great pieces
and
around.
who's to say it won't translate into the league?
But what's the Steelers' most pressing need right now? Outside linebacker. And if there's anyone I want right now, it's T.J. Watt. If I'm Steelers Nation, you got to go for T.J. Watt.
He's a dedicated, that hard-nosed player that the Steelers desperately need. And he's a player that could probably stay healthy. He's in great condition. I think he's the type of player.
And he's a good size. He's 6'4". He's 252 pounds, and he can move quick. He's got power, and he's a guy I really like. He did 21 reps at the NFL Combine. Clearly, he's a strong player, but. There's one pick I really want to talk about at the time we have it. It's a third-round draft pick, QB Davis Webb from Cal. He was a transfer from Texas Tech, really showed his stuff. And you know what? We didn't get to talk about this in the last segment, but the Steelers do need to start thinking about getting a quarterback. Davis Webb is the perfect kind of guy. He's a third-rounder, so it's good enough for a guy that could start off as a backup, and by the time Roethlisberger's done, develop him into a starter. He's a guy that came in, replaced Jared Goff, the #1 overall draft pick last year, right off the bat. Contributed, broke some of Goff's records. If I'm the Steelers, I'm trying to eat this guy up in the third round because he's a guy who's projected third, fourth round. I think he's undervalued.
I'm going to pull this dude. If he's gone, I think you need to look at Nate Peterman.
No.
He has the long ball for the long receivers, and he has the legs. If the offensive line breaks down, we can see another Ben Roethlisberger in him.
All right. Well, we're going to stop here. We're going to go right to the penalty box this week, looking at the dumbest things we have seen all week and trying to figure out where it all went wrong. This week, we are putting Andrew McCutchen in the penalty box for his performance against the Boston Red Sox. And you know what? We're talking Pittsburgh sports. You got to pick on Pittsburgh star.
Andrew, we're picking on you to hope that you hopefully will get better.
Let's hope he's watching the show.
That's your opinion.
He will use our motivation and our cruelism to...
Our cruelism, I like it.
He better watch this show.
Yeah,
I think so.
I hope he does.
I mean...
Eventually we're going to make him a better player, so we can only thank us.
He didn't look terrible. We accomplished that, but I think there's some hope. I know you and Sam, you and I have been debating if he's going to hit over 270 or not. May or may not have a bet on that. But I think he does. I think he hates April. Last year he hated every month in the season, but he hates April. He hates April, and I think he can really, see. We're not going to see 2013 Kutch, but I think we're going to see.
When Kutch struggled in April, you saw hints of what could be, and then he eventually figured it out. I don't see anything right now. I'm
April
sorry.
showers bring May flowers.
If you do watch this, I apologize.
April awfulness for Kutch brings May home runs.
Oh, man. All right, well, we're going to finish this last episode of the semester with the lightning round. Some rapid-fire answers. Let's see how many Rashad and Ian can answer here. We're going to start off with the man himself, Tony Romo. He's going to officially be released from the Dallas Cowboys and enter a career in broadcasting. What's your thoughts on the move?
I don't like Phil
Sims.
For him. And he's replacing Phil Sims. I'm ecstatic. I don't know if I like him. I got to hear him first, but Phil Sims is off with Jim Nantz. I like it.
Just another athlete I have to compete with in the field. Moving on.
All right, with the college basketball season officially over, who is your way too early pick to win it all next year?
Oh, jeez.
Duke.
You can spring that on us now. I'm going to say Duke. I'm a Duke fan. Some of the people upstairs may not agree. They called me a fake Duke fan in my ear, but
I really
Duke
think
fan
really,
through and through. Yeah. They're going to win it next year.
I like them.
You like Duke? Are you just bandwagoning right now?
To be fair, he did say it first.
I said Duke first. He bandwagon. Excuse hit, Sam.
All right, we got one last question here. The Penguins play the Blue Jackets tonight in a likely playoff matchup with home ice implications potentially on the line here. How important is it for the Pens to get home ice?
Very.
Do you think they can't win without Pens getting home ice?
I don't think they can. I think the first round they can.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have left on tonight's show. Thank you all for watching, and tune in next semester for more sports talk in the Burgh.